Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skyhold. Welcome to Dragon Age Inquisition. I finished this game last week, and after about 100 hours of playing I had a few things I wanted to talk about, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to talk about things that bothered me about this game, but I don't want to be entirely negative. So right to begin with, I'm going to make it very clear, I don't hate this game. I really like it a lot. I wouldn't have put 100 hours of my life into a game that I didn't love. In fact, I liked all the Dragon Age games. I had so much fun in Dragon Age Origins, or I want to find the hours to go back and play that again. It's just one of my favourite games. And Dragon Age 2 is a deeply flawed game, but still one I had a lot of fun in. I like the story in Dragon Age 2, and I like the characters. BioWare games typically have really good characters, and Dragon Age Inquisition is no exception. But first, let's introduce my Inquisitor. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and show your appreciation for Inquisitor Kadash. She saved the world today. What did you do today? Did you get out of bed? Did you eat some cereal? Did you maybe have a shower? This dwarf woman saved the world. And you know what else is special about this dwarf? She doesn't take fall damage in her own castle. Oh, that never gets old. Yeah. So this is Skyhold. This is your massive home base, where that is filled with people you can talk to, your friends and just hangers-on you pick up through the game, and filled with battlements that you can climb up and jump off. Let's talk to someone. Let's talk to this woman with the improbable collar. I mean, that must... How do you eat with one of those on? I mean, how do you breathe? If you sort of lay down and have a nap in the sun, do you suffocate to death? Things people do for fashion.
An opportunity, your worship. If you've a moment, I would speak to you about a potential partnership.
Sure, let's hear it.
You said something about a partnership?
The work you have done has presented an opportunity to return trade to the roads. A minimal investment at key points will ensure safe caravans. I'll forward it to your assistants for consideration. We have this opportunity because of you, Inquisitor, and we will all profit.
So the plot of this game is... I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as I can. But you are basically a religious figure, almost like a prophet. And you become head of this organization called the Inquisition, and from time to time people will give you missions. They'll have things they want the Inquisition to do, and if I wanted to do the mission I was just given, I would have to go to the war room and talk to my advisors and send one of them off to do it. And the missions are all done in real time, so your guy will say, oh, it'll take 15 minutes, and then you can just leave the computer or just turn the game off and do something else and come back in 15 minutes and the mission will be done, and you will get a reward. I'm never sure why there's sort of mist everywhere in this game. A lot of times you go into rooms and there's just fog, which I don't know. Sometimes it gets really annoying actually when you... I mean, in that room it wasn't too bad because it was just on the floor, but sometimes you can't see where you're going for the fog. It's everywhere. But yeah, so I could go into the war room over there here, and I'm not going to do it in case my advisors start blurting out plot spoilers because this is the end of the game. But yeah, and I could do that mission. But yeah, so Skyhold, as you can see, this castle of mine is massive, and it's just filled with people you can talk to. Like, I can talk to Josephine.
A fine day, isn't it?
And she has nothing to say because it's the end of the game, but before the end of the game I spent so much time just wandering around my castle talking to people, and it's just so much to explore, and that's one of the things I most love and hate about this game. It's like they took the criticisms of Dragon Age 2, that the zones were really small and repeated, and they decided to make everything massive. Dragon Age Inquisition, everything is massive, including your home base. And your home base is actually the most interesting zone, just because of all the people that are here. And you can go in here and you can see there's guys hammering on the swords. There's no purpose for this to be in the game. There's no point at which you interact with these guys. There's no point at which you need to come into this room. But it's there anyway, and it helps to make... I find it helps to make the Inquisition feel important, that there's all these people here. All these people just doing their own thing, doing the necessary grunt work that a huge organisation requires. I think an organisation, often it seems... Okay, I'll put it this way. Often it seems in games as though maybe you're the head of something, like you're the head of the Mages College in Skyrim, let's say. And that is just a bunch of teachers and 5 or 6 students. And that's it. And this whole huge castle and organisation is supposed to be maintained by a bunch, 5 or 6 teachers and 5 or 6 students. Which is unrealistic. It takes a lot of logistics. It takes a lot of people to maintain a large organisation. Someone's got to bring food in, someone's got to make the weapons, mend the weapons, someone's got to deal with the wounded, somebody's got to do all of these things. And so that's one of the things I love about this game. Oh, it won't let me jump. Oh, the game does have invisible walls, sadly, and it won't let me jump off there. I just wanted to do it for the lulz. Oh well, never mind. So I've reverted to an earlier save game so that we can go on a mission and see a bit of combat. Now, who shall we take with us on this mission? I'm playing a rogue, so we should take a warrior. Cassandra is a pretty good warrior. And let's take mage, let's take Vivienne, and let's take Dorian as well. 2 mages, a warrior, and a rogue seems like a good combination. Now, this is the Hissing Waste, and right away I have to say I love the sky domes. Look at that shade of blue. This is one of the larger zones in the game, because the whole thing about Dragon Age Inquisition is everything's supposedly open world. So whereas in Dragon Age 1 and 2 you sort of went into dungeons or factories and just fought in buildings, in Dragon Age Inquisition most of the time you're outside and you're just wandering around these entirely open landscapes. So what do we have around here? Well, as you can see on the minimap, we've got a landmark up here. And the landmark is basically just a type of collectible. You walk up to it and you press F and you get a little bit of lore, in this case talking about a dwarven tomb. And then you go and find the next one. And there's a larger map of this area. And you look at this map and you think, well, it's not that big, is it? Well, let's try to go to something. Let's try patrol has gone missing. Actually, let's try to do this quest and find this missing patrol. So that's that way. And there's no indicator of how close you are to the thing. But if I go a little bit, walk a little bit in that direction, you can see I've barely moved from the camp that I was at. Fortunately, you can summon a horse. There's actually a lot of different mounts in the game. That, disappointingly, I think there's like 2 you get from quests, and the rest you just have to buy with money, with in-game money, not microtransactions, which is a little disappointing. But it's really only for aesthetics. I never found a reason to use different mounts except to be looking at something different. So you can be looking at riding a massive hart. You can be looking at a hart's backside or a draken horse hybrid backside rather than a normal horse's backside. Yeah, you can't turn the camera without turning the horse, unfortunately. So you are just staring at the horse's backside. Alright, so the magic of the horse has got us to that quest. But it looked like it wasn't far. And it actually took us a little bit of time to get here. And that's one of the key problems with that spider's trying to attack me. Let's just kill it. It doesn't stand a chance. I'm like level 22, it's level 19. it doesn't stand a chance. And I got some crafting materials from it. Yeah, but that's one of the sort of problems with having these huge zones. Most of the time they're just wilderness. There's not that much of interest in them. You're mainly just going from quest marker to quest marker, and the big zone is just something you have to walk through. It's just a tedious journey to get from A to B. It's like commuting. It's like commuting to work in the morning. It's like, oh, I've got to ride my horse from A to B to do this quest. Oh god, there's a lot of spiders here. Oh, let's just kill these spiders, right? That one doesn't want to die so much, does he? Oh, and I just missed that. Let's use some poison on my daggers, and that ghost is in the way. Combat is kind of chaotic, and I will talk more about combat in a minute. Just want to get these spiders out of the way so I can keep talking about how... Oh, there's more spiders. How the big zones are. How big the zones are. But yeah, so as you saw when I was coming here, there wasn't really much. I was just riding a horse over dunes, basically looking at a horse's backside. And that's a little bit amplified in this area because this is a desert area anyway, and you wouldn't expect there to be lots of stuff. But even in a more populated zone like the hinterlands, there's still basically nothing. Is this the thing I'm meant to be looking for? Obviously I haven't done this quest yet. That was it. You are just going to the quest marker, or going to the purple circle and then searching it to find whatever it is you're looking for to finish the quest. And when you get there, as you just saw, the quest, most of them not that interesting. So that was just find a missing patrol. Oh, I found the missing patrol. Quest over. Did they have any interesting loot? No. Was there any kind of storyline? No. Did any of my team here make any comment about what had happened to the patrol? No. It's just find the missing patrol. Oh, you found them. Well done. It's just really boring. It doesn't make me feel rewarded for doing the quest. It's just another thing off the list. I mean, at this point in my save, how many quests do I have in not the hinterlands, so the hissing waste? I've got, as you can see, a bunch of quests to do. I need to gather some gurnhide. I need to find notes. I need to get to establish camps. I need to destroy fade rifts. I need to search for Venatori camps, and I need to find the Mountain Tombs treasure. So there's a few things going on. Alright, so let's go to this camp now. And the problem with riding the horse to get anywhere is that you miss out on the chance to search for crafting materials. So it's like I can ride the horse to get there, but to get to where I'm going faster. But so like this Vandal Aria is actually really useful herb for upgrading potions. If I was on the horse, I wouldn't be able to use my search ping to find it to start with, and then I would have to, this is stealth here, and then I would have to get off the horse, pick the herb, get back on the horse. So it's like it's a disincentive to actually use a horse, but it at the same time makes travelling around more tedious. Alright, so these guys, I think these are baddies. They're definitely baddies. Let's kill them. Ooh, why did I just... combat in this game is a little frustrating. Let's just clear these guys up. Ooh, that seemed painful. So at this stage in the game, obviously my guys have all kinds of abilities to cause explosions and summon ghosts, and basically the enemy has no chance against us, which actually made the final boss battle kind of disappointing. It's kind of like the one in Dragon Age 2 where I was like, oh, I just killed the final boss. right. You know, it was kind of easy. I'm not boasting or anything. Maybe I should have been playing the game on a harder difficulty level mode. You could say that, but it was no challenge at all. Like, oh, final boss, that was easy. And I know in other videos I've ranted about not having ridiculously difficult final bosses, which I still believe, by the way, but you need some kind of challenge to give you some kind of feeling of achievement for winning. And I'm not saying who the final boss is or who the enemy is, because hey, spoiler, and I don't want to spoil the plot for anyone. It's actually quite a cool twist when you find out the identity of the big bad who's behind everything. And that's one of the things actually the game does have going for it, is the sort of, I'm trying to make it to that camp over there. Okay, let's horse it over there. Oh, I can't summon the horse when the game thinks I'm in combat either. But yeah, kind of a cool twist when you find out who the big bad is. And then the game has another cool twist in a post-credits sequence. What? Oh, okay, the horse threw me because this spider was running over to attack me. I think maybe the different mounts have different chances of throwing you like that. I used, to be honest, I have only really used horses in this zone because the distances between the quest markers were so huge. Most of the time I didn't use horses because I wanted to collect crafting materials, because it turns out crafting is really important in this game because you can craft much better gear than you find. Much better. The difficulty is finding the crafting schematics that let you craft different types of armor. So I don't have any, I never did find any schematics to let me craft helmets, which means I'm using helmets I've looted off people. This is pretty. I mean, these zones are pretty. All of them are, pretty much. Valrio, the city zone, I was maybe not so keen on. But all of these wilderness zones are incredibly pretty. I love the sky dome. There it is. I knew there was a moon. I mean, somebody will say, oh, it's not realistic for the moon to be that high. But this isn't Earth. For the moon to be that high, for the moon to be that large even. But, you know, this isn't Earth. This is Thedas. The moon can be whatever it's like. Oh, I just love it. Oh, those sort of L-shaped mountains, by the way, you have to go to those. They look like they're just in the distance, and they are, but you have to go to them. You have to go to the other side of them. So, anyway, let's establish ourselves a camp. Set up camp here. The camps act like fast travel points, and they're also, you can also use them to re-equip your potions and things, and turn in requisition missions. I don't actually want to do that. I haven't used any potions. Right. Where shall we go next? Go and kill some dudes over there. Yeah, why not? Oh, there's a. The map shows, yep, there's a logging stand over here. Why there's a logging stand in a desert is another question. But we claim that, and those are sort of prerequisites for missions to upgrade Skyhold, which there's never any point to do any of them. I mean, it's not like Mass Effect 2 where you upgrade your ship and that each upgrade gives you more of a chance in a final battle. Here you upgrade them and it's like, it even says, the mission even says it's a cosmetic upgrade. It looks different. It has no game... Ouch. Sorry, I just hit something. It has no gameplay impact at all. It's kind of disappointing in that respect. Alright, so where are we heading? We shall head up that way, I think. Horse, come to me, because this is far too far to run. I'm sorry, I put a little cut there because my party started dropping plot spoilers in their banter. They do, I will say the party banter is always quite amusing when they start talking to one another about things, whether they're talking about the plot or just talking about life or teasing one another or getting on each other's nerves. And I've never heard it repeated. I don't know how much there is, but 100 hours of play, I never heard the same line twice. Very good. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, wilderness. Yeah, the whole game is just made up of wilderness zones. That's what it feels like anyway. And you could maybe say, oh well, this is a desert zone, so you'd expect it to be a wilderness, but everything's like this, even like the forest zones or the plains or the farmlands. There's no feeling of society in any of them. I think there's one decent sized town you can find in Redcliffe. Well, that's Redcliffe. In the hinterlands. And there's like a couple of castles and a couple of, not even villages really, like hamlets. But you never see any signs really of life going on. I mean, possibly with the exception of the crossroads in the hinterlands again, which is the first place you go in the game. You never see any signs of life. So, like, if you take Skyrim as an example of an open world game, in Skyrim, you know, you can find like hunters, trappers, you can find people wandering around selling stuff, you can find farmers, and there's a day-night cycle, and everyone goes to different places in their town at different times of the day, and they don't teleport there, they'll walk from A to B. So they're in the mornings they come out of their houses, they walk to work, then they'll maybe walk to the market or something. And okay, it's very simple, but it helps to make the zones feel alive. It feels like the society, it feels like there's people living there. I never feel like there's people living in any of these zones. It just feels like there's people standing around, and as a result the zones feel dead and uninteresting, and that's a shame. Okay, let's go and fight this camp of bad guys, because the next thing I wanted to talk about was the combat. So I'm playing a double dagger wielding rogue, and I've been regretting it for about the last 90 hours of the game. If you're about to start playing this game, my advice, don't play melee, play archer or mage, because the battles are just chaotic. Where are these guys? Wait a minute, did I? Oh, it's an area quest. Okay, so some of these quests go to the specific point, and some of them are just go to the general area and find things. So in this case, find bad guys. Right, so the key, full damage is not really a major concern in this game unless you're falling a massive distance. So the key thing when you're for being a rogue, I guess, is we stealth, and then we can sneaky up to them, and we can stab them, and we can just hit them in the back. Now, first problem is you don't one-shot anyone in this game. Even if you sneak up on them and stab them in the back or something, they take a bit of extra damage. And okay, if they're sufficiently low level, you can one-shot them. Like, why did my character just do that? Let's just stab this person. But for the most part, they just take a bit of extra damage and get stunned, which kind of, I understand why it's like that. You know, it's an RPG cliche, isn't it? Being in stealth, coming out of stealth, you do more damage, but it doesn't make you feel powerful. Okay, that's just okay. So one of the things in this game is you find these treasure maps, which is actually kind of cool. I do like that. The problem being that all the treasure maps are shown relative to the position. You're shown a view relative to the position of these sort of L-shaped, where are they? L-shaped mountains in the background. So you're continually having to walk, traverse the distances in a zone to get different perspectives on these L-shaped mountains to try to figure out where the treasure map is telling you to go. So there's another one here. See, L-shaped mountains in the background, 2 statues, and there's something to the left. We'll have to keep an eye out for where that is. Obviously I have done this quest before because I finished the game. Ooh! A lot of the time you're also collecting crafting materials, which I don't mind. It's sometimes hard to find them. Like, for example, I have a quest in the Exalted Plains. find malachite. I did every quest in the other quest in the Exalted Plains, explored the entire region. I thought I did anyway. I could not find any malachite. There's another one of these quests here where you're meant to be finding Ferelden locks in the hinterlands. I killed everything in the hinterlands and only found 3 locks. I don't know how I was meant to complete that, but it doesn't really matter because the rewards for completing quests are kind of rubbish, to be honest. Let's go and get this camp. Most of the time it's equipment that's significantly worse than what you've got on, or money, and money is not important in this game. I mean, I have, how much gold? I have 57,000 gold on me, and you know, an extra 100 gold, what's an extra 100 gold when you got 57,000 in the bank? Or it's influence points, and I have no idea what influence does. None. The game never explains it. I don't know whether it maybe makes me more persuasive in conversation scenes, but there's never a case when you seem to be persuading anyone. So the game completely fails to explain what that mechanic is. Alright, let's see if we can find someone else to fight. Yeah, rifts. That sounds like a good place to find someone to fight. So one of the key things in this game, ideas in this game, is the fade, or rather the veil, which is the sort of barrier between the real world and the fade, and where the fade is where dreams and spirits live. It has been broken. So there's these sort of rifts in it, which spawn demons, and basically you just have to go and kill demons. Oh, this isn't going to be easy to get to, is it? Because there's a great big canyon in the way. Alright, let's go to that one. Come on, horse, take me across the barren waste. So I don't mind this zone being a barren desert. It just annoys me that effectively every zone is a barren desert, even those that are forests. Oh, I just love the moon as well. So you see these green flashes, that shows where the Fade Rift is. And we'll go there and we'll fight some demons, and I will try to finish my thoughts on combat before the demons are dead. Unmount! So my team vanish when I mount the horse and they respawn when I get off the horse. I don't mind that. Right, let's sneak in here again. So there's usually 2 waves of demons. Occasionally there's 3. But usually it's 2 waves of demons to fight. So let's just push my daggers into him. Oh, and I got stunned and knocked down. So I don't know if it's just my brain being kind of old, but I find combat as a melee character incredibly chaotic. I also find it very hard to control my character's actions. A lot of the times you'll just miss because you don't get much range on daggers. Some of the time she will just attack the character I didn't want her to attack, and I don't know whether it's controlled by where the mouse pointer is on the screen, but when you're attacking, the mouse pointer disappears anyway. See there, she just seemed to attack him forward. Seems that this is actually going okay. But sometimes I will launch one of my abilities, and occasionally it will just fly. She will just fly across the screen and trying to attack somebody else with it. And you actually saw that in one of the earlier fights where I was shocked that my character just run across the screen and attack someone I didn't expect them to. And of course you can go into tactical view where the game is paused. So tactics were a big thing in Dragon Age Origins. The fights there were quite difficult, and the way the dungeons were designed and set up, if you just charged in, you would get killed. But they were often set up with multiple entry points, so there was a lot of cases where there would be a room that had some bad guys in that you had to fight, and there would be 2 or 3 doors you could go through, and you could send different people to different doors, and then just be very tactical in how you use magic spells and abilities to control the fight. I loved that, and I get the same kind of thrill I got from that from what's that game called? Divinity Original Sin. by the way. If you've not played that and you like Dragon Age Origins, Divinity Original Sin is just great. It's not quite the same because it's got turn-based combat. Dragon Age has never been turn-based, but it's fun. Anyway, I'm getting off the point. So in Dragon Age Inquisition, they have this tactical view, which is supposedly make you think of that. So what it does is it zooms you out and pauses, and then you can give orders. So I can order my guy to attack the demon. I could order, let's see, Vivienne. What ability does Vivienne have? Spirit Blade, Blizzard, Resurgence, Immolate. So we'll burn. Okay, he's chilled and immune to spirit damage. So we'll burn the Grate of Terror, and we'll tell Dorian to. Oh, Dorian actually doesn't have any mana. So we'll tell him to actually take a Lyrium potion. Yeah, why not? Lyrium potions were a big thing in the previous Dragon Age games because they're like health potions for your mana. They replenish your mana. I almost never use them in this game for some reason. Cassandra is my tank, and she's already spirit bashing, so that's fine. So, and then I can resume normal time, and those actions play out. I unpause effectively. There's problems with this. First of all, you can't watch the action in tactical mode because tactical mode is as far as you can zoom out, and if you zoom out all the way, you immediately pause and go into tactical mode. If you zoom in, you resume real time. Let's close this fade rift. How do I? Another problem: occasionally interaction points just don't spawn. I should be able to click on this to close the fade rift, and I can't. To be fair, this isn't a problem I've had more than like once or twice in the game. Let's just not bother. Let's go somewhere else and do something else. Let's go up there. There's another rift. So I was talking about tactical mode. Yeah, you press T and it goes into tactical mode. You can't watch the action in tactical mode. So if you're going to make heavy use of tactical mode, you're just going to be continually zooming in and out, which is uncomfortable. Oh, I can't summon the horse because I haven't closed the fade rift. Interesting. I don't know why it won't let me. I'm supposed to just click on that, and I use my magical Herald of Andraste arm power to close the fade rift, but it doesn't want to work. It doesn't matter. If I get far enough away, I can summon the horse. I keep getting lost on tangents, don't I? I keep going off on tangents. What was I talking about? Tactical mode, yes. Zooming in and out. And another problem I've had with tactical mode is that often... Oh, that's why I can't close the fade rift. I'm actually the wrong character. I'm Cassandra at the minute. I'm controlling Cassandra. Never mind. Yeah, the other problem I've had with tactical mode is that often the characters just don't do what you tell them to. You tell them to attack, you tell them to use an ability, and most of the time they do, and sometimes they just don't. Or sometimes they have to get, if you tell them to use a normal melee attack, sometimes they have to get into a specific position. Even though the guy you're trying to tell them to attack is, let's kill these guys, is in range, you know, they still have to get into that specific position to attack. So let's actually try using tactical mode here. Let's go say I go into stealth. Now you can't queue up instructions either. I can't say go into stealth and attack after they go into stealth, which is fine. That's not actually a problem, but yes, Cassandra can just go and attack this guy. Vivienne can use Blizzard. Let's just chill everyone, and Dorian can. He has that lightning cage ability. Where is it? There. Put a lightning cage around everyone, and it will just kill everyone in this way. So if I say attack this guy, she's just going to move straight towards him and attack him, which is what I wanted to do. Right? But there you see, I told her to attack this character and she attacked that one. So basic attack. Now she turns around to attack that one. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but because of that I've never used tactical mode much because I never trusted it. You also don't have much control over your AI partners unless you use tactical mode, or unless you can at any time you can switch. So I can just switch to this character, to Vivienne, and attack as Vivienne a bit if I want to. But when you're not controlling them, you don't have much influence over them. So you have I don't think I can show you it while I'm in combat, so I just need to kill that guy. Is he dead? Good. No, there's a spider. I do like Dorian's ability to summon the ghost of whatever he kills to fight for you. That is kind of cool. But yeah, so if we're going to not into there, into character record, so I can set behaviors for each character, which are really primitive. So I consider to always have a certain amount of mana kept in reserve. Why was that on 50%? That seems weird. Maybe this is why nobody ever uses their abilities. Anyway, I can set them to follow or defend certain specific characters. How do I put this back on what it was before? That's the question. This was on targeted character. Yeah, control character there. So I can always follow me or defend me. I can tell them not to use the last couple of healing potions. I can tell them when to use healing potions. That's it. I can turn IO tactics off as well, which is bizarre. I don't know why I would do that. I guess if you just want your guys to stand there doing nothing while you fight, that's what you do. If you're making heavy use of tactical mode, I guess that's what that's for. That's it. So in Dragon Age Origins, you could do things like you could tell guys to what abilities to use for guys who are far away or near. You could tell guys who to target. You could tell guys to use certain abilities if they got below health, a certain percentage of health. You could do all kinds of quite complicated behaviors and tactics, and automatic tactics, which is completely gone here. So you're reliant entirely on the AI, and the AI is dumb sometimes. A number of times I've seen like an Archer, Varric or Sarah just stand 2 feet away from a guy that they're trying to fill with arrows. Is mind-blowing. It's just so dumb and so frustrating, because obviously they die, and obviously some of those characters have abilities that mean they may do more damage if they're further away as well, so they're doing less damage. I don't know, I wish the AI would just back up in those cases. I know the same for mages. You know, I wish there was a way, because I'm playing a dual-wielding rogue, I would kind of go into stealth a lot. Maybe I don't want the tank to be going around attacking who I'm attacking. Maybe I want the tank to be defending my archers. Oh, I can only have the tank defend one character. If I've got 2 archers, or an archer and a mage, I can't do that. It's way too primitive. You can also set tactics, which just allows you to tell people not to use certain abilities. Why is Blizzard disabled? That seems like a really good ability. Interestingly, I can also set them to be preferred, so I can tell them to use some abilities instead of others. But yeah, so and that makes sense in terms that you'd want maybe your really powerful abilities you wouldn't want the AI using, because you don't want to wait for the opportune moment. But I would like to be able to set some more levels of preference here. I'd like to be able to drag. I mean, it'd be great if you could drag things and put them into order, but you can't. Combat is my least favourite part of the game, because it just feels so chaotic. I mean, a lot of the characters also have abilities that move themselves or move other guys around. So like Iron Bull has ability that grabs characters. I think Blackwall does as well, and it makes a battle really chaotic, which is probably realistic, but it doesn't make for a fun experience. For the most part, I'm finding combat is basically click fest. You just click in the mouse to attack, and then use your abilities at various points, and that's that. I have rambled about combat a lot, haven't I? The rewards for combat, by the way, are not particularly good. Generally it's just more rubbish loot, and loot in this game is not good. while I'm talking about things I don't like in this game, the jumping puzzles, I don't think there are any in this zone. Oh, I think I did them already. There's a lot of let's actually go somewhere else and I'll show you what I mean. Travel. Yeah, you do view and then you select where you want to travel to. So this is the western approach. Western approach is kind of like a sort of rocky, craggy area with lots of mines, and you end up finding that the mines are full of bad guys and killing them all, which is fine. But the western approach has quite a number of jumping puzzles. And you see, jumping puzzles, isn't this an RPG? Well, not really jumping puzzles, but more like that collectibles halfway up cliffs. I've collected them all now, so they're not there. And you have to figure out which rocks you can jump on to collect them. And the problem with that is the game does a really bad job of letting you know when you can jump up something. So that is not jumpable, which is fine, it's above my head. That is jumpable, which is fine, it was like ankle height. That is not jumpable, and I fly backwards when I try, right? That all seems fairly sensible. And yet, you know, there's some things that are, that's not jumpable. Fine, that is jumpable, that's fine. That you would think you could just grab onto and you can't. Well, maybe that's just my reading of the terrain. It's not realistic that you'd be able to grab onto there, but when a game's realistic in their jumping? When does that happen? Typically, I can't find any examples right now of the thing I want to illustrate, so maybe I'll just shut up about it. Oh, there's one. How did look? It's above my head. How do I jump up there? Doesn't make any sense. And there's other cave times when the reverse is true, when something looks easily jumpable and isn't, and you just, so a lot of the time you end up like jumping against cliffs just trying to find the magic point where you can. So I should be able to get up there, right? Nope. Yes. Nope. Okay. In that time I sort of did and then fell down again. No, but now I can't get up there. A lot of the time I found that I was spending a lot of time just jumping against things, trying to figure out where on earth I had to go to climb up to get the collectible, the shard. In a lot of cases, the shards are basically just collectibles. You look through the eyes of a skull, and obviously it's enchanted to show you on the map where the shards are. They appear on the map. You go and collect them, and then there's another zone where you take them, and the rewards for doing that are none. Basically, oh, you get some damage debuffs. Damage resistance, which sort of flies past your eyes so quickly that you don't even see it. It's like down here, plus 2% electric resistance, plus 2% cold resistance. Oh, gone. Forgotten about. And some rubbish quest loot, which is a lot worse than what you're wearing already. And it's just so typical of many of these quests that there's no follow-up. I mean, the lore, some of the codex entries you acquire hints that the disembodied skulls that you find all over the place, like this one up here, disembodied, that you look through to find the shard. I mean, I've already looked through this one, but I can look through it again. I've been put there by the bad guys, the Venatori, but presumably that means the Venatori are also chasing the shards, but there's no follow-up on that. You never find that. I mean, given these things are all over the place, they must have done more than just find the shards, and you know, they must have done more than just locate the shards. They must surely have found some of them. They must surely have collected them. Are the ones you collected the ones they missed or something? Probably not, because there's the exact number you need to unlock the reward in the Oasis zone. What about the shard? What happens to the shards the Venatori had collected? Are they not able to collect them? It is never explained, and so disappointing, because you spend a lot of time collecting shards and things, and the rewards for doing so are just Disappointing. While I'm talking about just the codex, by the way, it is the stupidest thing here ever, because you think, okay, so the codex is where all the bits of the books and letters and things you collect are recorded. So you think, oh, it's letters. I want to read some that I've collected. Oh, actually, these are all locked. Why are these all locked? Oh, because I've got to scroll down. As you can see, the problem is there's no way to see what they are. So if I maybe know the name of a letter I want to find, I would have to click on all of these to find it. Okay, they're in alphabetical order, so I could, if I know the first letter of it, then great. But if it's like, was it that thing I picked up called Letter About Lyrium? Was it called A Letter About Lyrium? Was it called The Letter About Lyrium? It's just, they're just numbered entries with the same graphic. Can you see the problem here? The codex entries themselves are interesting. Finding the one you want is a nightmare. Why isn't this just a list of the names of the letters? There's no, and you know, why would that would have been so much more useful, so much more usable. I mean, these little graphics, I like the little card graphic. Why is the option to show the images there? I don't know. Yeah, it's a graphic, it tells you it's a letter. That's fine. But there's 94 of these things, all with the same graphic. How does that make sense as a UI design? Again, in the crafting materials section, I'm missing one. I wonder what the one I'm missing is. You know, it's, you know, you have to know what the thing's called, and then figure out in where it will be in alphabetical order. So the creatures one's not so bad because you can see, you know, pictures of the creature. So that's obviously a bear. You know, the characters one's not bad because you see the picture of the character, like Josephine there. The groups one is just they all have the same picture. So it's like I want to find out about, well, what's one of the groups? The Venatori. Well, it's probably easy because they'll be the last one, won't they? No, because they're filed under T for the. I want to learn about magic. I want to learn about the Fade. Where's that going to be? There maybe? Lyrian? No. Illuvians? No. Okay, maybe the Fade is a place. Okay, so Fade. Where would that be? Priest of Leon for Elden Culture. Maybe it's the T for the forbidden. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? That they file stuff under T for the. Oh, the Fade. Look, I found it. How much easier would that have been if it was just a list of the names of the codex entries? It's a real demonstration of. Oh, it's kind of cool. It's like a bush in the shape of a dragon. It's a real demonstration of aesthetics being prioritized over usability. This looks pretty and is useless. Similarly, if we go back to Skyhold, is the selection of where is Skyhold? Is a selection of characters. Loading times are quite high in this game, even though I'm running myself on SSD. I don't mind that too much. And obviously the fact I'm recording does slow it down as well because there's more traffic on the motherboard bus. Okay, so let's say I found something. Oh, a Wyvern's Tusk dagger. I want to see if that's going to be any good for me. No. Is it any good for Cole? Okay, so I've got to find Cole's inventory, which I do by cycling through these guys. Right, there it is. That's easy enough, right? But these guys are in just no order. I have to scroll through them all. Now maybe I want to look at something else. Let's say I want to see if, let's say I've picked up this helm. Is this any good for Cassandra? That was easy. No. Is it any good for Blackwall? Where is Blackwall? Blackwall there. No, Blackwall's, I went past him there. No, it isn't. But it's crazy that you have to scroll through them all, and I don't know what order these characters are in. I really doubt. They're not in class order. They're not in alphabetical order. Who knows? They're not in the order you meet them in the game. Why? I mean, there should be just like a set of portraits down here, where you can just click on the guy you want and see their inventory immediately. That would have been usable. Much more usable than this stupid scrolling through them. And these icons are tiny as well. It's very easy to try to click on the right one and end up clicking on the left one. And I got so frustrated at that. But I've talked at great length about things I don't like about this game. And I'll tell you why, because I love the game. And I want it to be better than it is. I want it to be perfect, and it's not. That doesn't mean it's not very good. So I'm going to end with the positives. What I love, the characters. I mean, all your various friends, and there's like, I think there's 9 guys you can take out on missions with you. You've got your 3... Yeah, you've got your 3 advisors for the Inquisition who don't go out on missions with you, and some other characters as well you meet around here. They all have their own quests, which are interesting, although they're a little short. So like Cassandra over here has a pretty interesting quest where you go off and you fight her ex-boss. Everyone else's quests, they're interesting, but they're pretty short. So like Iron Bull's quest is like you have one battle somewhere, and it's a nice character moment for Bull, and there's a nice bit of tension, but that's it. It's over. And every one of them, they feel like an anticlimax. Josephine's is good as well, actually, to be fair. Josie's quest is quite involved. It takes quite a bit of time. There's a lot of stages to it. Solus's quest, companion quest, is not interesting. You just go, you have a fight, you make a moral decision, and that's it. Not to say it's not interesting, but it's short. It's so short. And actually, that's something about this game. There's a lot of really short quests where it's just find something, go somewhere, quest over. There's not so many multi-stage quests where you find something else, find something else, find something out, find something out, go find something. It's like there's lots of little quests rather than a fewer number of big ones. And I think it would have been better if there were bigger quests. Or more larger quests. It would help to make you feel a bit more connected. Blackwall's companion, I don't want to say the companion quests aren't interesting. They're all interesting, but they're all just short. Blackwall's is very good as well, but it's short and so disappointing as a result. And the only companion quest I don't think was interesting was Sarah's. In fact, I don't remember what it was. That shows how uninteresting it was. But yeah, I think Sarah is probably the weakest of the companions you get in this game. Sarah, let's go talk to Sarah. Where am I? I wanted to go through here. Because Sarah is potentially a really interesting character, because she's like some kind of, almost like a revolutionary Che Guevara kind of character. But I don't think she'll talk to us. Oh, we can talk to her. Thoughts on our progress? I'm sorry for the cut there. I talked to Sarah and she started spilling plot spoilers, so I had to cut them out. But yeah, so Sarah is supposedly a revolutionary character who's on the side of the poor and the downtrodden. But she doesn't really get a good character moment. So she doesn't really have an arc. She just joins the Inquisition and that's it. That was disappointing, but for the other characters, they all have good character moments, even if the quests that give them are kind of short. And I guess that brings me to the point of summing up. Obviously I love this game, but it's not perfect, and it does feel as though the designers have championed quantity over quality. It's like they've said, rather than having small, focused, meaningful zones, we have huge zones full of nothing. Right. And they've decided we're going to have lots of really small quests instead of having the number of really interesting multi-stage quests. There's a lot of the quests. Let's be honest. A lot of the quests in this game. A lot of the things that appear on the quest log really boring. It's like, you know, find 3 gun hides, set up camps, close rifts. But I don't know why they did that either. You'd say it was padding, except this is a massive game already. It doesn't need padding. But never mind. I have enjoyed it. I'll be interested to see where the DLC goes. The main storyline was really interesting. The closing cutscene sets up very interesting things to happen either in DLC or in Dragon Age 4. I hope there'll be a Dragon Age 4. I'm sure there will be. I'm sure this game must have been successful. I wish the religious aspects had been a bit more prominent in the game. It's a really big... The idea of my character is that she survives something that kills hundreds of other people, and as a result she becomes a religious figure in that people believe she was saved by God, effectively. And there's various dialogue options where I can either play that up or I can downplay it or say I don't believe or whatever. But that all kind of disappears from the plot after the first act. And in the rest of the game I'm still a religious figure, but it's more because I'm leader of this massive organisation called the Inquisition than anything else. And supposedly people are still believing that I'm divine, or some people are, but it's definitely downplayed massively. It's a shame. I like it when games tackle religion. Oh well, never mind. I'm going to call it a day. Closing thoughts. Do I recommend this game? If you like Dragon Age, you will like this probably. If you like lore, if you like pretty things, yeah, I don't regret spending 100 hours playing this game. Thank you for watching this if you made it this far. I'm sorry for the rambling, but I ramble. That's what I do. Take good care of yourself, and I shall see you soon. Ta-ta.